Finally, the burning sensation faded. I struggled to my feet. I looked at my body and was completely stunned. A black layer of keratin had grown over my skin, hard as rock, as if I were wearing armor. In addition, 7 or 8 sharp bony spikes had sprouted from my back, each about 15 centimeters long, glinting with a cold sheen in the darkness of the cave. I moved my head and found that my horns had thickened as well, their tips sharp like daggers. While I was still in shock, I heard the voice of the old hunter outside the cave. "Mr. Lee, are you sure the beast is inside? I saw it go in with my own eyes. It can't escape." The burly man's voice trembled, clearly frightened by what he had seen earlier. "Good. Then don't blame me for being ruthless. This beast killed 3 of my house dogs. Today it must die." After he said that, I heard a faint rustling sound, as if they were preparing something. I stared warily at the cave entrance, every muscle in my body tense. But in the next moment, something sparking was thrown inside. It was dynamite. My pupils shrank. I turned and ran toward the depths of the cave. A deafening explosion echoed. The entire cave shook violently and rocks fell like hail. The shockwave knocked me to the ground. Several sharp stones struck my back, but I only felt mild pain. The keratin layer had protected me from most of the damage. I struggled to my feet and saw that the cave entrance had partially collapsed. "Did it kill it?" The old man's voice came from outside. "It must be dead. With that kind of power, even a bear would be dead." The burly man sighed in relief. Hearing their conversation, a spark of ferocity flashed in my eyes. "Kill me? Not in your dreams." I growled and charged toward the half-collapsed entrance. Neither rocks nor dirt could stop me. I forced my way through the debris and burst out of the cave. The sunlight made me squint. When I could finally see what was happening outside, the old man and the burly man were pale with fear. "What kind of monster is this?" The old man, seeing my bony spikes and armor, could barely hold his shotgun. The burly man collapsed to the ground, his crotch soaked. I shook the dust off my head and advanced toward them step by step. The old man reacted, raised his shotgun, and fired at me. The 3 pellets struck my armor, but only produced sparks. They didn't even scratch me. Terrified, the old man dropped his shotgun and ran. "Old man, don't abandon me." The burly man tried to stand and follow, but his legs trembled, and he fell back to the ground. I walked up to him and looked down. This man had taken care of me for 2 months. Even if it was to sell me, at least he had never mistreated me. I watched him for a couple of seconds, then finally turned to chase the old man. This bastard tricked me and now wants to run. I tightened my 4 hooves and sprinted at an astonishing speed. Within seconds, I caught up to the old man. Seeing me, he panicked, lost his balance, and rolled down the slope. I stood at the top, watching him struggle among the thorny bushes. I didn't pursue him. Suddenly, the system notification sounded. The host has completed the first counterattack. Human pursuit. Achievement unlocked. Breaking chains. Body mutation stabilized. Officially evolved into an armored ox. New mission unlocked. Venture into the wild. Devour more powerful creatures. Exceed 1,000 kilograms. I looked up at the deep mountains stretching before me, a spark of excitement in my eyes. I could no longer return to the human world, so I would carve my own path in the wilderness, devouring everything I could. I turned without looking back and walked into the dense forest. Behind me, the burly man's cries faded away, but I no longer cared. The system chimed again. Current status: armored ox. Weight: 600 kilograms. Strength: 78. Constitution: 65. Agility: 30. Upon reaching 1,000 kilograms, a new form will be unlocked. It is recommended to hunt prey with higher energy. I flicked my tail and quickened my pace into the mountains. If I wanted to grow stronger, I had to find more powerful prey. I walked for nearly an hour. The trees grew denser and denser. Sunlight barely penetrated, and the air smelled of dampness and decay. The ground was covered with droppings and animal tracks. I pricked up my ears, alert. This was clearly the territory of some large beast. Just then, the bushes ahead rustled. I stopped abruptly, every muscle tensed. A massive wild boar emerged, with tusks nearly 30 centimeters long and bloodshot eyes. It was much larger than the one I had eaten before. It must weigh at least 200 kilograms. The boar saw me and let out a furious grunt. It scraped the ground and charged straight at me. I did not retreat. On the contrary, I rushed to meet it. The 2 beasts collided with a dull thud. The boar's tusks stabbed into my armor, but only left 2 shallow marks. I seized the opportunity and drove my horns into its flank. The boar screamed in pain as blood gushed out. I shook my head violently and threw it to the ground. The boar tried to get up, but I stepped on its neck and broke it. Ding! Large boar defeated. 120 energy points obtained. Without hesitation, I began devouring the corpse. As soon as the warm flesh entered my mouth, I felt that familiar burning sensation again. Weight increased by 75 kilograms. Strength plus 15. Constitution plus 12. Current weight: 675 kilograms. 325 kilograms remaining until evolution. While I was devouring greedily, I heard a faint rustling around me. I raised my head sharply and saw at least 8 pairs of greenish eyes surrounding me. It was a pack of wolves. The one leading them was especially large, with dark gray fur and a ferocious gaze. Blood stained the corners of its mouth. The other wolves spread out, slowly encircling me. I swallowed the meat in my mouth, growled, and took a fighting stance. Clearly, the pack saw me as an intruder, and I had also stolen their prey. The alpha wolf howled, and the others lunged at me from all directions. I quickly turned and delivered a powerful kick to a wolf trying to bite my hind legs. Another wolf bit my neck, but its teeth shattered against my armor, and it let out a howl of pain. I took the opportunity to hook that wolf with my horns and slam it into the ground. However, the wolves were highly coordinated. As soon as one retreated, another took its place. My strength began to wane, and my breathing quickened. Then the alpha wolf lunged from the side, its sharp claws aimed at my eyes. I had no time to dodge. I turned my head and blocked with my horns. Its claws tore across my cheek, opening a deep wound, and blood burst out instantly. I roared in pain, and fury overtook me. Wolves or not, only one side will survive today. I charged with all my strength and rammed the alpha wolf with the spikes on my back. The alpha reacted quickly, twisting in midair to dodge, but the wolf behind it wasn't so lucky. The spikes pierced through it, killing it instantly. Seeing their companion dead, the other wolves showed a trace of fear, and their attack weakened significantly. I seized the chance, rushed at the nearest wolf, and crushed its head with a stomp. The alpha wolf, realizing the situation had turned unfavorable, let out a long howl and fled with the rest of the pack. I stood there, panting, covered in blood, unsure whether it was mine or theirs. 3 wolves defeated, 180 energy points obtained. The host is injured. It is recommended to devour flesh to recover. I looked at the half-eaten bodies of the wolf and the boar, and immediately began devouring them again. As soon as the meat entered my mouth, I felt a tingling sensation in my wounds, which began healing before my eyes. Ding. Weight exceeded 750 kilograms. Strength exceeded 100 points. Armor durability increased. Spikes lengthened. I felt full of energy, and the earlier fatigue vanished. But then I heard wolf howls again in the distance, and there were far more than before. My heart sank. Those bastards had called reinforcements. I couldn't stay there. I had to find a safe place. I grabbed the remaining boar in my mouth and ran deeper into the forest. The howls grew closer and closer. This time, they were determined to kill me. I ran at full speed with the boar in my mouth, but the howls followed me like a shadow. Through the trees, I saw at least a dozen wolves chasing me, led by the same alpha wolf. That vengeful bastard. I ran on all fours. Branches scraped against my body and my armor creaked, but the wolves were faster, and the distance between us shrank. Just as they were about to catch me, a clearing appeared ahead. I burst out of the forest and found myself in a rocky field. Massive boulders rose around me, and a stream flowed between them. Without hesitation, I ran into the rocky terrain. The pack followed and surrounded me, blocking my path. The alpha wolf climbed onto a rock and stared down at me with murderous intent. It howled toward the sky, and the pack attacked immediately. This time they had learned their lesson. They no longer fought one by one, but in coordinated groups. 3 wolves lunged at my left side. I turned to face them, but then 2 others bit my hind legs. I shook my legs violently, but the wolf in front of me knocked me down. 4 or 5 wolves pounced on me, tearing at my armor with their sharp claws.